Hello everyone, this is minoxen bringing you another high-definition commentary of Heroes of Newerth. Today we're going to be bringing you the UNGL Zowie Cup number 2 semifinals matchup of Port versus Online Kingdom. I'm definitely looking forward to see how this series plays out. It is a best-of-3 series, and before we get too much into anything, I am joined with Onaprayer. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Hey, guys.
Alright, well, always good to have you. Before we get into the bans and everything here, I wanted to remind all the viewers that if you enjoy the cast that we do here, be sure to hit that like button down there on YouTube. That helps the popularity of the video, helps other people find us. Also, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel currently, go ahead and feel free to subscribe. It is, in fact, free. Check the description in the box below there for Onaprayer's live stream and other information there about this particular matchup. So thank you all for watching, and let's get into this. Alright, well, we do have the bans out here. Do you want to go over those, Onaprayer?
Yeah, sure. Bans are... Well, wow, these green highlighted bars actually interfere. Never mind. It's Corrupted Disciple, Plague Rider, Hellbringer, Torture, Electrician, Pharaoh, Tree, and Vindicator. So real interesting bans there. Keeper of the Forest, not so surprising. We saw him, I think, one time in the previous matchup that we did between Online Kingdom and Genesis Gaming. That's who it was. And he was pretty effective. In fact, that game, I believe he didn't die a single time. Also, they're banning heroes, if you notice, that are really good at pushing and really good at stopping pushes. So Vindicator is really good at stopping a push, and it could also be to deny like a certain spell. I don't know what they would want to prevent if one team's going to pick him. Did you happen to see who banned which hero?
Yeah, I have it here. It started out with Port banning Torturer, then Online Kingdom to Electrician. Then I'll just go back and forth here. Keeper of the Forest, Pharaoh, Hellbringer, Plague Rider, Corrupted Disciple, and Online Kingdom banned Vindicator as their last ban. So.
Okay, well, I'm not too familiar with ports, so Electrician is probably, well, not probably, it's obviously, yeah. It's targeted towards one of their players, and them in general, they really like that hero. Why they banned Vindicator? He's a pretty effective counter to Magnus, and their team in general does require them to actually use a lot of spells to be effective. They have a lot of disable with the Polywog Tongue Tie and the Hex, with the Wheat Field and the Fish, so they really need to get that off. If they did have a Vindicator, that would prevent it. Whether or not Port's used to picking him up, I would assume so, or they just don't want to risk it. I don't know, because Vindicator is one of those that you only really do it if you're sure the other team is going to pick it up and you know that they play it. Aside from that, Pharaoh he's ban-worthy in his own right, and he's good at stopping pushes. Plague Rider, we've seen him time and time again, again, what he can do in a solo lane, and Corrupted Disciple, Online Kingdom, has been picking up a lot lately. The reason being, he's really good mid-game hero. The reason why we didn't see him before this new pushing phase is that he tapers off late game, so if you can end the game mid, that's when he's his strongest. Yep.
Sorry, if you heard me making noises or something, it's because I finally figured out how to make my UI show the HP numbers and mana numbers there. I saw someone else doing a cast and they weren't that way, and it looked like they accidentally went to go click on one of these portraits, and all of a sudden one of them showed up. I was like, but I never got in there to do that. So yeah, now everyone gets to see these HP totals on the heroes there. I also have scrolled out. Be sure to let me know if you're watching this what you guys think of the new UI settings. If I'm not switching between the screens enough or what, just let me know. It's still something we're still getting used to. I've only done a few games with it here. And wow, a really early Ward of Sight coming out from Hani there in this bottom lane. Kind of wasting a good portion of its life here. I guess they're just not wanting to get initially ganked there. What is he doing all the way? Okay.
Yeah, it's just
didn't want to have to go back there when there's a chance of him already being lined up, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's worth getting it out there earlier rather than later, and then risking him dying, because him dying is obviously worth a lot more gold. In general, yeah, I guess as for their overall lineups, like I said, Online Kingdom really relies on them getting their spells off, which could contribute to that Vindicator ban. As for Port's lineup in general, I haven't really seen them. I know they've been playing quite a few tournaments, but I haven't really had the opportunity to watch them firsthand or to cast any of their games. So Zephyr pickup's pretty surprising. Kraken, not so much. He's been pretty popular lately. We were discussing the reason for that, actually.
Yeah, with Kraken, kind of being more popular, especially with the Souls Bulwark. But I'd seen him just a little bit before that, even, to where he was pretty popular. Disham in a little bit of trouble, gonna eat the Magma Stun, followed up by the Weed Field, and the 4-second arrow. That's a dead Demented Shaman. Nice Bloodlust going out in favor of Online Kingdom. And that's why they had those wards there, to give them that little bit of extra vision and to make sure that they weren't the ones walking into a trap. So kudos to them. They are also spotting this Andromeda sitting down here in this bottom lane that is lined up against Slither. So Slither in a nice position here, going to be able to hopefully get a little bit of experience when able. But yeah, as far as that Kraken goes, that's been a really popular pick as of late, and it's actually been ban-worthy several times, and kind of really curious to see if anything's going to be done about it, or if it is just all based around, Souls Bulwark being such a good item for him.
Huh. This is a real interesting thing they're doing. We've seen it many times where the top lane isn't a viable lane for the farm, so they just go jungle. And Zephyr of old was considered a really good jungler. The new and semi-improved Zephyr is definitely capable of jungling, but you typically want to do it at level 3. In this case, they want to.
He went Gust first too, so
yeah, it's gonna help out. It's gonna help out a little bit.
Yeah, that level 2 is going to be well earned. So yeah, that is interesting that they do go ahead and abandon that, and so it looks like Demented Shaman may be going in there to help him a little bit too, to help try and even the odds. I don't think it's going to go too well here, since they're going to have to do a little bit off tanking. But yeah, curious to see how well this pans out for them. Very unfortunate for them in this top lane. Already at such a big disadvantage and being forced to beg and plead for every kill that they can get in this jungle. But at least Disham is helping him out for a little bit now. And Demented Shaman is actually one of those heroes that I like to see get a little bit of solo experience. I mean, it's not one of those heroes you have to have, solo experience on, but you were talking earlier about heroes that can help stop a push, and Demented Shaman, whenever I'm in a game, I love having Demented Shaman for being able to stop those really big pushes, because as soon as that creep wave lines up against that wall of your allied creeps, you nuke it down, and it just basically, it almost will kill everything, or it does kill everything if it's taken a hit or two. So I really like Disham for his counter push capabilities, and the armor is just really nice in a team fight.
Yeah, especially with the Kraken pickup and the Andromeda, they have a lot of minus armor going, and instead of just putting all their eggs in one basket, they actually do have the Zephyr for some magic damage. Because aside from him, well, they have the Bombardier, depending on how well he does.
They could line up a nice ultimate combo there between the three of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, you have the easy slope from Zephyr, so Kraken has an easier time landing his ultimate, and then Bombardier on top of it. They definitely have a lot going for them, and I actually like the lineup. It doesn't rely too heavily on one single hero. They have a few of their heroes who can jump in there and initiate anytime. It's like Kraken could be the one to go in, they can have Zephyr go in. So it's a lot, it's pretty versatile, actually. I like it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to agree. And my auto-skip pause does not work, so how is that? If, I'm going to pause this and we'll be right back. Alright, and we're back this time for real. And sorry, we did skip a few seconds here as I finally got my auto-skip pause put in permanently now, so thank you very much for the poster on Game Replays for putting that up for me so I can get it put into my console. As middle, we're going to see, we see this Myrmidon and Magnus coming in as the pause is not going to stop me this time. It'll just roll on right through here. But Bombardier sitting off nicely off to the side, actually going for the rune here, going to be battling it out with Polywog Priest, tossing the bomb out. Well, the Hex comes out to try and delay it. The grab as well, but he gets it anyways. A nice try. Unfortunately, his support was lagging behind there. They're like, well, what are we going to do, run past the tower? I mean, that doesn't make much sense, but I guess that's what he was expecting, and now, unfortunately,
He tried to stall long enough for them to get right there.
Yeah. Well, they were still sitting behind that because they saw him running up that way, but they didn't start moving with Polly as quickly as he was, so...
Yeah.
A little unfortunate, as speaking of unfortunate, we've got Zephyr, who's level 3 now. He's going to get this Vagabond later, hopefully get solo XP. No, looks like he shared a little bit of that with Disham, but doing a little bit better, I guess, than what he could be. But this Valkyrie up top sitting on solo farm is now 25 and 10 on her creep kill count and denies. So having a pretty good time of it, leading the game so far, other than this Kraken down here who's, still doing surprisingly well, who might actually have something lined up on him, as Myrmidon and Magnus are down here, but oh no, that's a Ward of Sight in positive for the Hellborn, so... Oh, but they did get spotted by this Ward of Sight, which was watching the rune and for the gank, so nicely done there. from Andromeda. Throwing that up to keep an eye out.
So there's build. Let me see what he went for. Toxin wards. He's actually going level 2 poison spray. And I assume he'll level up the toxin wards next. I don't believe he'll get the max. I doubt he'll get the max. So
that is the more typical.
They get level 2 instead of only level 1.
Oh, that might be a dead Andromeda. They are going to go ahead and stun and combo in with the Weed Field, but she does have backup if they get there in a little bit. Oh, a nice stop on that fish as well. The Magikarp not going to be able to do full damage, as they're just going to abandon this Myrmidon and go ahead and wait for Magmus to jet through the trees here, as we got another TP coming in bottom.
Yeah, he could do that. That was pretty dumb.
Yeah, why would you go? I mean, yeah, I would have figured he could have jetted the other way or down through the creeps.
He could have stunned towards, he could have stunned through the trees going to the inner jungle, or he could have gone to the camp. I think he thought he had it, but he's only... Oh, action will not stop.
It will not, as that poor little Zephyr, only level 3 right now, going to be going down very swiftly.
Damn.
As, that's going to end up in favor. Wow.
Just crush that Myrmidon.
Absolutely.
All sorts of dead. Slither is... Yep, Kraken is going to run into the Slither. The slow will not work on him, of course, since he has a haste rune. Not going to actually shove him into a tree.
That's kind of surprising. Looked like it was going to hit there, but unfortunately for him, it did not.
Get away.
Wow. I'm thinking that he was probably thinking it should have hit there as well, because it stopped like right at the edge of that tree. Maybe it just max distanced or something, but I don't know.
Definitely, no, it did reach its max distance. I thought he would run a little bit to the side, so he'd shove him into the tree. Instead, he
just didn't want to risk missing it, probably. He had haste, though, so I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. He could have set it up a little better, but I guess he thought he had it, and he nearly did. I mean, that was really close. Anyway, top lane solo farm Valkyrie, Alchemist Bones. Even after it's been nerfed to the increased cooldown, it's definitely viable if you can get it. I think she... Well, what's
and if you have free farm, I mean, it's just going to keep help you snowball. You take a duck into the forest there. Hopefully, one of your support has stacked it. There are 2 Vulture Lords waiting to be nabbed. You know, it's plenty of setup for it. It's definitely a good item in this situation since they've totally left her to free farm. Yeah,
the thing about it also is that getting it allows you... otherwise, she'd just be sitting here till the end of time, just sitting here farm. With Alchemist Bones, she can actually keep her farm up while moving around, so she doesn't have to stay in lane to keep her farm up, because Valkyrie is one of those heroes she's actually really hard to farm with. She's pretty mana dependent, so it's not like she could just spam call the Valkyrie as she does now. It's really difficult, so she either gets last hits constantly, or she doesn't get that much farm. So Alchemist Bones is pretty worthwhile on her.
I'm kind of interested why they went ahead and cycled this Magmus and Myrmidon back up here. I mean, they're level 2 and level 3. They could probably be used elsewhere in another lane instead of coming up here against this poor little D-Sham.
It's actually level 4. Nice.
Oh, he is level 4. I'm sorry.
Yeah, level 2 and 3 support over on Online Kingdom side, and we have a level 4 and 4 support over for Ports, so they're doing quite well.
Yeah, Andrew's been doing a little bit of a roam there as well, but now has been throwing out the Ward of Sight down at bottom. I was giggling a little bit earlier because Andromeda was being fed wards by Slither. Every time Slither would come up, he'd toss a ward off into the jungle, and Andromeda would kill it in 3 shots, and then by that time, another one is up, so he threw another one, and just kept doing that for about 4 wards worth, and I guess it was just they finally had enough and said, oh, screw it, I'll just stop.
Well, you got the experience, you got the gold. Nice.
That should work, as we're going to see them release the Kraken on this Slither, and they're going to be going diving here. It will not be enough. There we go. Did not look like it hit the tree either, but unfortunately now Kraken going to be trying to run away from a double damage polywog, but the ward trap goes out perfectly and manages to catch the unfortunate Kraken. They were going for a little bit of gusto there. And unfortunately, it came back to bite them because, hey, you know what? When you throw your ultimate up at the tower and you're diving and there's portals there, you need to probably get out. But they saw red and wanted blood.
What they got only looks like they cut themselves in return.
Yeah, I was going to say a little bit more of a mixture than probably what they're hoping for.
Yeah. Let's see, top lane. Oh, wow, that was interesting.
Yeah, a nice, relatively blind arrow. I guess she did have the creep wave there, but he just didn't play quite into it as she was hoping. And now they're going to try and open up onto Valkyrie. We're going to go ahead and see the poison, the slamming into the tree there. The heal from the couple of creeps is going to be enough. Will Valkyrie go down to the poison? No, she will not. She sits at 30 HP. Bombardier throwing out a missing ultimate in the opposite direction of where it needed to be.
Oh god.
And now Kraken is in a really, really bad hurting here. He is probably going to go down. He gets the heal from Demented Shaman. Doesn't matter. Goes down anyways. We see another player from the Hellborn going down. Polywog Priest was on his way up there. Got picked off by Bombardier. And who was the other one that was there with him? Orange. Andromeda. So I guess a 1-for-1 trade going out. Polywog for Kraken. Can't really... I guess argue on that. I would probably say that the Legion lost out a little bit more on that one since they lost the big boy.
Well, they lost their solo mid, so it's kind of even. Typically, I feel like if you trade off a kill, even though that's one of the heroes they want to get farm, but if your solo laner dies, then it's actually a better trade because they're the one with, they're the ones with the greater experience, so you gain more.
Okay.
And also, it sets them farther back. Like usually, the solo laners need the levels to keep their advantage. So it has that added effect. Like Kraken can just farm and he'll be alright, but if your solo laner doesn't get the levels he needs, then you'll
I guess it also
kind of
matters who got that kill, and since it was Bombardier and it is Polywog Priest that's going to be going back up against him, that might help out Bomb here in just a little bit to get a better grasp on that middle situation, as he is 3-0. He's 47-10, and Polywog is currently sitting at 2-2 and is 44-14. So relatively relatively even as far as creeps kills go. Magma's gonna jet in there, misses the stun, and gonna eat about 5 tower shots for his efforts. So
wait, this is it is. It's overpowered.
Oh, really?
You remember that Magnus game, right?
Yep, I remember.
If anyone didn't watch it, it was definitely entertaining.
Yeah, as he decided to man it up there that last game, but here we go. This is gonna work. Bombardier getting caught in the Polywog wards. The grab going off onto Zephyr to try and interrupt him a little bit here. Level 6 Zephyr, though, going up against a level 9 Polywog Priest, 5 Myrmidon, and 5 Magmus. As Magmus decided to tank a little bit of the tower instead of sticking around to help, and I think that they could have gotten Zephyr if he had just gone ahead and manned up a little bit there.
He didn't have mana, though.
He could have hit him twice. What is his HP's at? Yeah, no, he would probably still skimmed out of there. But, one more body in there, maybe doing a little body block, and there's a lot of things could have changed that.
Another vote to pause, huh?
And that's not going to matter to me, because now we have auto-skip pause, so thank you again to the poster on that.
Do you have his name?
I don't have. I alt-tabbed it over and copied it straight from his post and forgot to look at the name. So you know who you are, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I'll be sure to include something in the description, probably.
Yeah, that's going down. Whether or not it's going to be denied, he's chasing him off. And
trying, and nope, is not able to deny it.
Not sure why he didn't just go for it, because he knew that the Polywog ultimate was down because it was used in middle lane. So he didn't have to really worry that much. I mean, Polywog, he does damage, but without his ultimate, he didn't have to. I don't know. It seemed a little funny, especially since he has his, as Magmus is perhaps going to the.
He does have a... No, that's their Word of Sight. Where's the other one at? Who pinged there? The Strider's gonna go in, and they're doing another tower dive. Here comes the Weedfield, and a 5-second arrow to follow it up. That's gonna be enough here to probably finish off this Zephyr. There's the Magikarp, and the call of the Valkyrie to finish the job. Who went down bottom? Oh, we have MS Ivy going down there.
He literally couldn't move, huh? That's one of the worst ways to die. When you get hit by an arrow, and you just sit there while you die. No ports in though.
Plenty enjoyable.
At bottom, there was actually a little bit of action, I think, to prevent them from coming in there, because that was
he got evaporated. As nice snag from Kraken there, stopping Magmus, telling him no, you can't leave here after getting that kill. I'm gonna have to make sure that take a little bit of a death tax out of you.
He caught him at like the second click of the heal.
Very nice.
Yeah. Alright, let's see. It actually works, right? Because it's a 3-second channel, huh? Yeah, so it is 3 times. Okay, anyway, like I was going to say, I'm not sure why they didn't port in particular. Sometimes if a team's going to jump them, and the way to prevent the other team from coming in is to be aggressive on them in your lanes. So therefore they can actually take the time to go in on you. As up top, yeah.
Wow, that did a surprising amount of damage from her. That's interesting.
Because the Aurora, and then...
Oh, she did toss the Aurora out first. I heard it, but it didn't click with me. So,
And then I think Kraken's leveling up his Gush, the Torrent rather. It's -5 armor. So it's quite a bit. Level 2 Aurora only, so -8 armor. Not bad at all. I wonder when the Demented Shaman gets going and his ultimate goes off, and then things are really looking pretty good for them. As for Zephyr.
Yeah.
Roasted chicken tonight. Roasted owl.
Might have been a little well done there.
I don't think you're allowed to, huh? Owl.
Roasted owl?
Probably
Not in the US anyways.
Yeah. I wonder, it's not really so accurate. It's like always those things that you see the ads for and you're like, oh man, I want it. So I see that, you know.
It looks delicious, but...
Yeah, but I can't have it. It's not fair. Alright, up top, just looking at the overall farm, I wonder how Valkyrie's matching up to everyone else now that, you know, the laning phase.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I was watching that. Wes Magnus got caught there in the Kraken ultimate and was kind of forced back into the middle there as Andromeda's going to cast out the Aurora, the Torrent to follow. That's going to be a one-hit smash as this Kraken is just... Oh, he's so nasty.
Kraken. Alright.
Let's get Kraken.
445 gold per minute.
Ooh, good.
So he's still maintaining really good farm. As up top, he should be just fine. I mean, he has
level 7 Zeph. That's not gonna hurt him too bad.
Yeah. Instead, he turns around and he's like poke, poke, poke. He's always like the fat kid, you know. He's like poking him. He's waiting until he does something, and he just like doesn't want to do anything. What a bully.
Yeah, that Valkyrie's just been bullying that top lane all game.
I wonder what he's gonna go for first item. Looks like he's going for a Nullstone. It'll work on a couple of disables. Well, most notably, he doesn't want to get swapped by Andromeda.
Yeah, and it also has, you know, there's quite a few things on that team that he can block out. You know, the Demented Shaman stuns coming out from his Entangle, and...
It's real late game, though. He's gearing himself for real late game. Otherwise, he would have gone a more offensive item. Like, he would have gone for the Firebrand, and then he would have gone for Geometer Bane if he was planning on pushing earlier on. Like, right now, he's not hoping to push, which is interesting, considering they have Slither Wards and they have Poliwag. You would think he would want to get an earlier Geometer Bane, but...
And I mean, they are facing off against a Zephyr and a Kraken, so I don't know. Late game, you know, a really farmed Valkyrie versus a Zephyr and Kraken. I mean, Zephyr's pretty much gonna... Oh, get away here, I mean. As, he's gonna be fine eating all those NATOs. Now I remember why I didn't like Zephyr. As the swap gonna come out from Andromeda, this Comet Stun to follow, and... I think everyone donated something to the fight there, as she had like 10 HP left, so... Nice effort, but yeah, no, I don't really think that they need to be holding off here as long as they are, you know, aiming for the late game, since I really think Kraken and Zephyr, if they get an opportunity to farm, Kraken's already got farmed, so if they continue to do what they're doing, I want to kind of give this to the Legion here towards the later end of this game.
Yeah, they definitely have the right heroes for late game, so just gonna have to see how that works out. There's a lot of magic damage over on Hellborn team, so even with action in mid, they're going on the Kraken, which is definitely...
That is really awesome, as I think Overpow's... It seems like deja vu sometimes here. The Kraken right on top of Poliwag Priest. The Bombardier ult to follow up there. Doesn't even need to get in range for anything else. That'll do it.
That was real nice. That ultimate was smack dab.
Absolutely perfect. The Bombardier maybe not quite as good as it could have been, but... Still pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it only hit with one of the procs, whereas it could hit with two if they're sitting stationary. As we're going to see Demented Shaman go down, Magnus to follow. Kraken, the tank beast monster that he is going to be making it out of here just fine with his Helm of the Black Legion, Mystic Vestments, and Ghost Marchers to boost him out of that fight.
Yeah.
So
I think it was before Kraken was ever really seen. It was Toronto who said that he was one of the better heroes in the game because you can build him defensive. I mean, he literally rapes everyone with just the Helm of the Black Legion and a Shaman's Headdress because of the amount of physical damage and, you know, the amount of disables he has going for him. He just does so much damage without any offensive items. You just go defensive, so he tanks so much, and he's a huge threat. So it's like, you can't focus him, but at the same time, the damage he dishes out is pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean, with as many times as we've seen him picked up competitively here, you know, he hasn't even bothered to, you know, go for the, oh, there... I was going to say, he's had lots of gold farm. I haven't even seen him pick up part of the item yet, but there's the Soul's Bulwark. He just purchased it. It's probably flying out on the courier right now. There it is. Does have it picked up. Is going to be toting that little bad boy around here for the additional +5 or -5 armor that it bestows on its wielder. And probably going to be going for the more offensive use of that item. Going to be switching it over here soon. There it is. So yeah, he's got a good farm going here, and I think that his game's just going to continue to improve. What is his gold per minute up to now? Wow, yeah, he's climbed up almost 40 or 50 gold per minute since last time I checked. He's at 414 gold per minute, battling it out with Valkyrie at only 430 right now. Both are respectable amounts of gold farm, but you know, if I'm going to put money on who's going to win what with the right amount of farm, I'm going to put it on Kraken.
Yeah, having the solo lane Kraken is now ahead of Valkyrie in terms of experience. Other than that, the only question is whether or not they're going to feel comfortable pushing. Even though they have the Soul's Bulwark, they're against the Polywog Priest and Myrmidon. They have a lot of defensive capability, but they do have a lot of they do have pushing power with their plus and minus armor. Oh,
this is gonna be how you can take down a Kraken. Even he did throw out the ultimate onto it and the invis from Valkyrie. He is gonna charge out of those wards. Wow, that is a really tanky Kraken. He didn't even bother to put Soul's Bulwark onto armor. He's like, you know what? Just try, guys. As Andromeda gonna be ballsing it up in here. There's the release of the Kraken along with the Zephyr ultimate. Nothing's really landing here. Everyone's getting away. Charging back into the Polywog wards. The heal gonna be doing some good work. Bombardier ultimate going out. Everyone's dangerously low on health. Will Zephyr get out? Getting a little bit of a block. Oh, pops the heal from Demented Shaman. Not going to be enough, though, as Valkyrie finishes the job. Kraken goes down. Zephyr's down. Bombardier going down now. Andromeda as well. So a 4-4-2 exchange going out in favor of the Hellborn. So, wow, that was one hell of an exchange.
Yeah, they survived.
That is so amazing.
Long. With very little HP. Shout out to Palzilla, by the way. He actually TP'd away, but he TP'd to close by so he can come right back in. So he was caught off guard and he was out of position, but he TP'd to the tower so he can come right back in instead of going back to Fountain and healing up. Really nice job. He turned that around for his team.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, that was entertaining.
That was what I was saying, though. Whether or not they're going to feel comfortable pushing, even though they had the advantage, is really iffy. Yep.
Nice. Oh, yep, there you go. That'll save the day. As I was going to say, looked like it was a little late on the disjoint attempt, but doesn't matter. She does have the Nullstone finish now, so going to be able to absorb that Comet, which, you know, hey, that saved him from dying.
Yeah, Myrmidon doing a little counter-warding with the bird.
Yeah, the flying pig. So cute.
Yep. Oh, really? Pigs flying, huh?
Uh-huh. They told you it would happen.
They did. Alright, up top, Magnus. Looks like he really wants to farm up his portal key. What's he sitting on? Maybe... No, he doesn't have it, I don't think. But he's got... Yeah, it's going to be a while. Wow.
Yeah, only 880 gold right now. What is his gold per minute at? He's kind of been playing the role of dying the most on his team. So yeah, 100 almost. Yeah, just barely right around there as the... Wow, did that actually land? It did land onto him as he was... oh, here we go. He's going to pop the ultimate. The Weedfield trying to grab this Bombardier. Not quite going to be able to do it.
That was weird.
Going to be... Yeah, what was...
I don't know why he didn't pop his bomb to disturb his ultimate.
Huh, yeah.
Well, a few things. Like, I was surprised that he didn't stun to disjoint the bomb, because if he stuns as it blows...
If you're disabled as Bombardier, can you actually pop that? Okay,
no,
so
you can't, but he wasn't like... He was able to move before, you know, the
yeah, so he wasn't spamming the button or anything?
Yeah. Aside from that, there are a few things, because you can Lava Surge with Magnus and disjoint. Not disjoint, but when the bomb goes off, you don't actually receive any damage. So he stunned earlier, and I was like, well, this isn't going to work, because he's just going to blow it. But then he didn't blow it, and his ultimate went off. Nothing happened in the end, but... Zephyr, wow, they're just getting caught left, right, and center.
Oh, indeed they are. Oh, unfortunately, the nice use of the push stick going to be getting Polywog Priest out of the way. Kraken going to be going down. The ward's nicely used there. As top, we're going to see Magnus in a little bit of trouble. Going to probably go down to this Bombardier and Demented Shaman combination. But nice disjointing with the bomb there and using the stun to get out of that. Very nicely done. Kudos to Pow on that one.
So here's the thing. If you're being pushed on by a hero like Magnus, you don't want to commit 2 of your heroes to them while the rest of your team is pushing, because he's not worth the effort. Like a Magnus who's under leveled, even if you get a kill on him, you don't really get that much because he doesn't have any kill streaks, obviously. He's not worth all that much and he's not that high level, so you don't really gain that much. To have like maybe a Demented Shaman or someone stop him.
Surprised that they dedicated so much to the push mid there on that, really. I mean, knowing that their team members were top, that was just kind of, you know, they had Zephyr and Kraken up there, and I guess they just maybe had a little bit of the God mode complex going, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. They figure they're really buff and they're overestimating their abilities. Or at least that's what it seems. It's one of 2 things. Either they should have realized that they were top. I think it's more the fact that they shouldn't have even gone top. Like, stopping Magnus is not worthwhile. Like I said, he's worth nothing. So they should have been mid, and they should have been helping out their their carries.
Yep, I would agree.
As looks like they're gonna actually do this once again. So third time is the charm. Like eventually, when you hit your head into the wall, it's gonna break, right?
I think that's the usual strategy. Just keep hitting until it works, right? Is Valkyrie ultimate going to go out there? They do get the Voodoo Wards onto Kraken. He is stuck there, not going anywhere. Will he go down is the question. The heal, the Demented Shaman shield, everything's going out, trying to save Kraken. He does finally manage to torrent out of there, but yeah,
he was waiting for his charge to go down.
Yeah, I do not know why he sat there and took it for so long. Magnus going to be getting his ultimate off there finally, doing a lot of damage to Andromeda. Kind of maybe a wasted ultimate when she's still not really going anywhere. But a hat trick going out in favor of Isaac Juten, also known as Simiju, we found out after our last cast of Online Kingdom. Demented Shaman eating a 3.5-second arrow, being forced to watch himself die, as Onaprayer loves to see.
He's definitely well known for playing Polywog Priest Semiju. He's played him mid many times, so he's well practiced. But yeah, like we were saying, he was literally just standing there waiting for his charge cooldown to come off. I mean, that was what, like 7 seconds?
Well, I mean, they kept trying to chain CC him and stuff, but it was, you know, he had plenty of opportunities to get a swing or 2 off, to have done something other than just sit there and take it, you know, waiting for his tsunami charge.
I really don't understand. Like, you only have to kill 2 of them to get out.
Yeah, as we are already 27 minutes into this game, it is currently sitting at a 10,000 gold lead in favor of the Hellborn and a nearly 11,000 experience lead in the favor of the Hellborn. So, gonna have to really see some good team fights and stuff going out here from the Hellborn in order to get this turned around. Valkyrie trying to get something out here, as they do have a good numbers advantage if they can turn this around. Kraken out on his own. There's the push stick. Polywog Priest going to come in here. There's the wards, and they're going to try and get him taken down. Storm Spirit going off on Kraken in order to keep him out of the fight as Andromeda goes down. Valkyrie using the Call of the Valkyrie to do a little bit more damage. The Gust from Zephyr in a defensive way. They're trying to keep off here as the double push stick onto Polywog Priest. Nicely done. Release the Kraken, going to be doing a very nice job as the Bombardier ultimate on top.
It's not going to be enough.
Or is it? Oh, Onaprayer, man, you should know. You don't say anything until the battle is done, because then they're just gonna...
I was counting my chickens.
Counting all them coins in your pocket, waiting for, you know, just planning on how you're gonna spend them. As, wow, yeah, that, I did not see that going at all as well as it did for the Legion in that, the end of that, as that helped drop the experience and gold lead down by about 3,000 in each category, and about 5,000 in the experience category.
Alright, so now the question is, are they gonna once again group up and try to push, or will they finally realize that they have, I think anyway, that they have it late game?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I'm not as competitive as you are, and not quite as high tiered either, but, yeah, I mean, just looking at it and thinking strategically here, I would put Kraken and Zephyr over top of, I guess, probably just Valkyrie and,
well, they have
Slither, yeah.
But he's
Slither's going all support here, so. That was really nice on the double sticks, or the double tablets.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Definitely nice use over there. There's a couple of nice stuff you can have. Like if you have a Kraken charge with a tablet of command, I think it looks pretty funny. Yeah, but again, they're not even gearing themselves towards late game. Like you see Polywog, Storm Spirit, and Tablet of Command. They have a lot of utility, but they don't have items for late game. Like their damage isn't there. So if they actually, you know, tank up, like Zephyr, like, they have no way of killing him if he gets beefy. But he's been dying quite a bit. What's his GPM? Yeah, it's not even near 300.
Yeah, 238, which is, he's doing a lot better than what he was to begin with. He does have some Cyclones to be able to do some jungle here, but not with Bombardier taking all the kills.
As for the Ghost Marchers on Zephyr...
Oh, Bound Eye on Demented Shaman doing the counter warding for their team now.
Yeah. It's not like Armadon where I'm like... With Armadon, whenever anyone gets Ghost Marchers on her, like, that's really horrible. With Zephyr, it's either or, because Zephyr does... He does gain movement speed if his windshield procs, but he does benefit from being able to chase people as opposed to just sitting there absorbing damage. But in this case, where his farm isn't that good, he does need the extra survivability. I'm not sure. That in itself won't really matter all that much. I'm just saying maybe he would have gone Steam Boost. It would have made a little bit of a difference, but in general, it's not too bad. The item itself is okay on him.
Yeah, and I think that, some of these guys might need to... I see this in professional tiered games all the time, and it drives me crazy too a little bit. I did the jungling guide and stuff, so I figured out, the 37-second mark's the latest you want to kill any creature in a camp. Mm-hmm. And I'll see that so many times when they're not wanting to go into lane, they're just wanting to do the jungle, and they'll kill a camp at like 45 seconds, and then they're just sitting wandering around or be forced to leave out of their jungle, and when they could have, if they just had 5 seconds more of patience, they could have pulled it, got the stack, and then, especially with someone like Zephyr, you're going to benefit all the more from it. But just one of those minor gripes, I guess.
Well, earlier on, you don't want to do that because Zephyr doesn't have the ability to deal with a double stack camp.
Yeah, well, I'm talking more about the late game issue where, like, right now they're trying to play defensively and keep the farm up, so I don't know why that, these are obviously high-tier players. They shouldn't be aware of those timings and things. As Zephyr going to try and get out here. Magnus throwing the stun down. Nice little midget stun going to do the job, but... he's
not going to be able to... Yeah,
no,
he's die before he can do anything. I'm not sure what that was about, though, because he gusted, so he gave away his position.
Well, I think that they kind of knew... They knew he was there, and then just the gust was to try and buy him a little bit more. I don't know if he knew that Magnus was there to ruin his day.
Yeah. Magnus, who does in fact have a portal key, and someone gave him a teleport. Huh. Someone gave him a homecoming, so I'm not sure who. Interesting.
Oh, indeed.
It looks as though, another really nice job. This pig, huh?
Indeed, I know, right?
I wonder. He's like
the warding
but
champion.
Surely losing weight. No, he's not a fat little pig anymore. He's slim. He's a slim pig.
There we go. I'll zoom in for the viewer's benefit. There we go. Now back out to our God mode here as we get zoomed back out.
Regen rune bottled by Bombardier. The impact on the game by Bombardier hasn't been as much as I would have thought. I didn't see him roaming around, huh?
No, we never really saw him leave middle. We saw Polywog do the roam, and every time he died and came back to lane, Bombardier was still sitting there waiting to resume what they'd started. And Bomb really didn't get much of an experience advantage for all the time that he set farming lane either. So, and some of the ultimates that I've seen, he's been landing some good ones, but part of the problem with that combination is, with like a Zephyr and Kraken, they're sitting still. You're not going to be able to get too many of your bombs to proc. You want them to not be moving slowly so that way they'll walk in the direction of your vector targeting so they'll eat maximum damage, but that combination kind of makes them want to be stationary. So, I don't know, I guess Bomb did a good job, I guess, as far as, quote-unquote winning his lane. He did have a higher CS and a better kill count, but he kind of has a global ulti for that purpose. So, I don't know. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen him definitely do a little bit more early on.
Yeah, this Valkyrie, huh? Earlier on, her farm dropped down to about 430 from where it was, but now it's back up
to
over 500. Yeah, exactly. And then on the other end, we have Kraken, who was breaking the 400 gold per minute mark, is now,
well, and he was breaking it at 400 at right whenever, he was at 400 before they dived that tower middle with him and Zephyr, and
like three times.
Yeah,
at bottom and mid, and then happened I think 3-4 times where they just kind of gave it away.
Oh, it is really unfortunate because, now you do see this Valkyrie starting to get a little bit more dangerous here, being able to land some of these things. And Demented Shaman with a nice little bit of a dodge. I don't know if he quite had a ward there to spot that, but did get lucky in missing that arrow. He had some backup, so I don't know that he would have gone down, but Still a nice...
Kraken actually finishing Shrunken Head, so that's pretty nice.
Oh, there we go. That'll be good for him. Hopefully he won't get completely CC'd down, and, you know, he can pop the Shrunken, and then he can take a bath in the wards there, and just wait for his Tsunami charge to come back up, and then charge his way out and look all epic and cool, but while taking no magic damage. So I guess the snakes will just have to bite at him for a little bit.
Yeah. And like we were saying, Valkyrie is gearing towards late game, and she's doing a pretty nice job.
Mm-hmm.
She's got...
Well, that's part of the huge thing with... I mean, whenever she was sitting up there and she picked up Alchemist Bones, that immediately says to me that she's wanting this game to go on for a really long time, because in order for you to get your payback on that, you at least have to have them for however long. I don't know the new calculation since they've got, what, 20 more seconds of cooldown on them. But they're going to try and line up here and go for this Kongor, and there's no wards from the Legion that are going to be able to spot this right now. I'm sure that they probably suspect something, as the Aurora is going to spot Slither. Not sure if they're going to be able to make a move on this, as Kraken's doing his pacing here, waiting for the rest of the Legion team to show up, but this Kongor is going down fast. And they've already made space for Valkyrie here, and she's going to be picking this up, throwing the ultimate out to try and prevent them from getting a good initiation, and maybe go for a counter initiation here as the arrow goes out, going to miss wildly there. And the ultimate from Demented Shaman landing released the Kraken to no real effect. A Zephyr ultimate as well, so... Oh, as Kraken going to be popping his Shrunken Head for the first time, going to last a nice long while there, but not really going to matter. Magnus goes down, but whoop-de-doo, he's still got 2,000 gold that he's sitting on. What do you think he's going to be going for next? Frostwolf on Slither?
Yeah, we've seen it quite a... I think someone said that Trixie really liked that build ever since they removed the orb effect from...
Right, that's... Yeah, I'd forgotten they did that.
Yeah. Other than that, what do I say? Oh, Magnus. Whoa. Well, it's either or. You can get Shrunken Head if you want, but he's probably not worried about that. He's gonna wanna... You could go Storm Spirit. You can go another tap out of command, because they don't have enough.
Yeah, so we're gonna see the... This Valkyrie is getting nasty. Has finished up the Savage Mace now. Still setting over 500 gold per minute. So, I mean, once you do pick up those Alchemist Bones, it's essentially, after a certain point, it's just adding a really consistent amount of GPM, and she's been left to free farm pretty consistently here. So I don't know exactly what they could have done differently on that. They really probably should have just played a little bit smarter. I hate to say that for the Legion team here, and not, you know, gone the old bang your head against the wall strategy, and just maybe waited for a good pick off and then take the advantage for a push. Or force, you know, the Hellborn to get impatient. You know, make them say, hey, you know what, we are a push team. We need to do something now, so let's do it. And Zephyr's ultimate is just now coming off of cooldown, so he's going to maybe be able to do something to throw up the defense here. They're going to be able to get the deny on the tower. Don't think they're going to follow it up with anything else, since they don't really have any good disables to be able to catch them, and they don't know what is left of the Hellborn team in this vicinity.
Yep, Zephyr, how close is he?
Magnus trying to land the stun there, almost had it. Valkyrie throwing out the arrow to try and catch. Oh my god, look at the damage coming out there. That'll do it. As a nice bit of damage coming out there. Magnus going to stun out and get Zephyr there. Bombardier trying to throw the bomb, missing unfortunately. I'm opening up the Observer wards. Trying to click on things. The token is used. The wards are thrown up around Bombardier. He's in trouble. Wow, yeah they do. They really want him dead, and hey, they're gonna get it, so I guess...
That was unfortunate. Magnus tried to come and help him out, but unfortunately his stun-in caused him to get...
Yeah, ran into the Kraken center.
Yeah,
so,
like right into the whirlpool.
That will do it, and that'll proc that stun and the extra damage on it. And of course, you're sitting in the Zephyr ultimate as well, which is doing a good amount of magic damage. How much magic damage a second does that thing do? I've never really... 100 magic damage per second, I guess, if you're in the epicenter.
Yeah, I forgot how long. I think it's like 5-6 seconds. No?
I cannot find an actual duration.
Last 10 seconds. Oh, that's.
Oh wow! Wow.
I thought it was 6. I was gonna say just to be.
Oh, Andromeda being the first one to TP in is not going to pan out very well for her. She's going to be going down to the points. Oh, Storm Spirit to try and save the day. They do get the deny. Nicely done there. Really unfortunate that the rest of her team didn't come in with her there to begin with. That would have been a nice setup. Maybe they were... Now Magnus is dead. I don't know why they took so long, but very unfortunate that they did have to go ahead and deny her. But, hey, at least they did. So as we're going to see Kraken picking up the vast majority of his demonic now. I saw him pick up the chainmail and the warp cleft, so we'll have to see how much further he has to go for that.
There we go. There's a stack for you. For Zephyr over there. He's actually got his Shrunken Head now after that fight. So now they're actually where they want to be. He's got his Shrunken Head. He doesn't have a lot of armor, but they do have the Demented Shaman. So they have a lot to keep them alive.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a really good job in dropping this team advantage here. I mean, right now we're 40 minutes into the game, which is probably about 13 or so later than what it was last time I touched on this. But we're seeing about a 7,000 gold lead for the Hellborn and a 3,000 experience lead, which, you know, when we were talking about 11,000 before, they've made some good progress. And, I mean, those couple crucial team fights where they get that Valkyrie, you know, who's sitting really high and mighty there at level 21, that's a nice bit of experience for everyone to get in on. As the Hellborn, yeah, they're going to try something here. I don't know if the bang in the head strategy is going to work better for the Hellborn or what, but I guess we'll.
Skull finished on Slither as he's going to use Gust over there. I wanted to mention that you did say that you liked Demented Shaman getting levels in item or two. He does have it actually. He's got a Gnome's Wisdom and a tablet.
Wow, very nice.
So he's actually doing pretty well.
Yeah, that is one of my preferences. I mean, D-Sham, my biggest thing that I really liked about Demented Shaman is that whenever I played 2v2 primarily, is that Demented Shaman in 2v2 is absolutely gross just because you can pair him up with someone like a Pestilence or someone else who deals a lot of physical damage or has negative physical armor, and by level 6 you're just ripping through them, and especially if you can get a lucky heal wave off when they think that they've got you and draw creeps around them. But yeah, no, it's a really effective tool for being able to get rid of those creep waves, that healing wave of his.
Yeah, stops pushes in their tracks, and also the Superman cape's really nice to help out, especially with their tanky team. They're already hard to kill, and then they've been doing a nice job keeping him out of the fights. In every fight, if you notice, he's been disabled, so he can't really get his stuff off as well. Or a lot of times I've seen Kraken and Zephyr, they kind of run away from him, so he's out of range to really do anything. They don't really stick close by or try to keep themselves together. They split apart.
Yeah.
Let's see, Magnus, what has he been doing? Because he's got 20.
Yeah, he's got a crazy amount of gold. I'd asked you about that before, what you thought, and I forgot that I'd ask, because something else apparently happened, but...
It was... The typical one is... Well, he could get spell shards if he wants to be fancy.
Plate mail on Zephyr, too. You think he's going Frostfield?
Plate mail on Zephyr... Yeah, it's actually not that uncommon.
I would imagine, I mean, because, you know, he is... You know, he can benefit from that, so...
Yeah, the mana he doesn't really need that much. I mean, after the fight, he does get pretty low in terms of mana.
But they've already got the demonic, so I think that's probably the main reason why he's not going for something more like that as well.
And it does do a lot. I mean, it allows Kraken to really continue beating on someone. Works out. I'm surprised that Bombardier hasn't chosen to go for Spell Shards or Staff of the Master. That's a way to maximize his damage, and it increases it by a lot.
I'm really nervous for this Kraken. Sorry.
Why are you nervous?
Yeah, because he was sitting up there at that top ledge. I can't ping it, but, you know, right back there in that little nook. He was sitting there the entire time the Hellborn was lined up middle, and I was just hoping that Slither wouldn't throw a ward up there and then be like, oh, free Kraken! And, you know, trying. But I guess at least then they'd have to waste some stuff on him, so maybe he's feeling a little tanky.
Let's see what the ward situation is for now. We have one from Port. Let's see, by their Ancient.
Defensive one on their side.
We have one from Port by their inner camp over there, outside their base, on that little hill.
Hellborn, do we have any wards up?
I actually don't see anything. It's always been that way, where later in the game you don't always see wards going around because they're always planning on sticking together anyway. That being said, you always have to make sure that there's wards and vision on the map because it's so important. So their wards don't give vision anymore, at least, well, barely any, so you can't rely on that. I have to say that Myrmidon's been doing a really nice job counterwarding with that bird.
Yeah, the pig has definitely earned itself.
I see, yeah, he has an eye now, so...
Yeah, he's had that ever since he started going around with the pig.
Oh, is that what happened? Thought he had that counterwards, okay. So yeah, what you do is... Because it doesn't work on the bird, yeah, it used to work if it was on the bird, you could spot it, but then they changed it to where it only works if it's on yourself. So you send it over to you, and then you just put it on you and walk around with the bird and just to spot everything. Then you just stick it right back on it and send it back, so you don't have to worry about losing it.
How close is Kongor here? Because they are really, really wanting to keep this Kongor in their favor.
Damn, yeah. I think this is what a Ming bro calls a snake castle.
Snake Castle.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Snake Castle.
Unassailable fortress over
Oh,
there.
Frostwolf onto Valkyrie now as well, picking up the Firebrand, having split her Frostburn down, so gonna probably go ahead and put that into a Geo, I guess, at some point, since she's already this far into it.
Yep, her damage output is getting to be pretty insane. Well,
Yeah,
it is already
and she's at
insane.
2600 HP, so she's tanky and she's got more HP than Kraken right now. That's funny.
Yeah.
But Kraken does have the demonic finished up now. Speaking of him, Zephyr's still
Kraken's
not moved
definitely more
anymore.
defensive. He's got the shrunken head and the demonic breastplate, so in terms of what he can do with it, he's definitely more he's definitely more tanky. But Valkyrie just yeah.
Yeah, that's kind
Savage
of
Mace was a pretty obvious pickup against Zephyr because it'll go through his windshield. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it eliminates the evasion, and plus it has that awesome plus 100 proc on it, so she's already been displaying that a little bit there, doing some good damage with it. And yeah, I mean, with where we're at right now, we see the gold difference here go amazingly in favor of the Hellborn. What are you laughing at?
Over Pal.
Oh, what's he doing, DD and stuff?
Nah, 4350 gold. He's waiting for something. He
What
probably
the
wants to
hell?
buy a Kuldra Sheepstick. He's just saving up for a Kuldra outright.
Wow.
He can also buy back if necessary.
Yeah, look at Bombardier also sitting at around 4800.
Yeah, I don't know what he wants to go for. I would have assumed Staff of the Master. I mean, even late in the game, it's still a decent amount of damage. He could want to be going for disables. Like if on Valkyrie especially, if they can disable Valkyrie and her DPS isn't there, they could definitely do a lot of work because they have Shrunkens to avoid the rest of the damage. I mean, aside from Polywog ultimate being physical, they're all magic damage in a team fight. I suppose Slither by now does do a little bit of damage, but it's really not that impressive. Actually choosing to go for Portal Key.
That's
which,
kind of interesting.
Yeah, I've seen on occasion. It's
Trying to
alright.
maximize their magic damage output through his ultimate.
Yeah. The AoE is really big, so some people say it's really not necessary, but I've seen it before. I tend to agree that it's not really necessary, especially this late in the game. She's definitely tanky enough to manage to get in there and throw out a really nice ultimate that she doesn't need Portal Key. But I guess preference.
This is going to be a fast Congo. We're going to have to see how long this takes as they almost have him down. Is the Legion team going to be able to do anything about it? No, they're not going to get in there in time. Kongor does go down. Valkyrie does manage to pick up the token, and here we go. The ultimate coming out from Magmus, going to do a lot of damage to Andromeda, taking her down really quickly. Magmus going down as well. Valkyrie being left her own demise to pick off the rest of the Legion team, while Kraken's busy playing with Polywog Priest and Slither. Not going to end well for him, I don't think, here, as Zephyr going to be caught in the voodoo wards. Kraken just so powerful, but yeah, definitely a little bit of a bad choice there as far as splitting up, and there's just...
Yeah. It happened again, yeah, where they kind of split off. Especially Kraken, he had his ultimate perfectly placed on Polywog Priest, but there was no counter ward, and once again, he kind of just like stuck around there. I guess he was waiting for the Valkyrie ultimate to wear off, but it lasts for a long time. And also, I'm gonna have to check the exact amount of time it lasts for. I don't think this one actually... It says how long it lasts for.
Oh, activate to grant all heroes is 7, 9, and 11 second stealth. So right now it is at its final level for 11 seconds. So
yeah, so it is really long, and he just stood there. I think it was 4 seconds or so before he managed to spot Polywog Priest. So 4 seconds of him doing nothing in a team fight. That is
not something you want to have happen.
So I don't know. Like he's a really good player, and I've seen him before, and I've been pretty impressed with him. But on the Kraken, is some pretty questionable. I mean, obviously it's easy to say watching it. Don't know what he's thinking while playing it, and then everyone's gonna say, well, you're not as good. That may be, but if you see something that's not as good as what you would want to see, then you gotta call it out.
That's so unfortunate to see Bombardier lose all that gold and stuff too. I mean, would you at least have liked to have seen him maybe go for like a barrier idol or something, since they are so magic heavy here? That would have probably saved him against Magmus, you know, since Magmus was doing so much damage with that, and just, I don't know, I would have liked to have seen him have done something with that.
He had enough gold to straight, to buy a Staff of the Master right out. I mean, it's 4,300 and he had that amount saved up as Bombardier gets pushed in.
Oh, double push there. He's going to use Storm Spirit to try and save himself. Don't know if it's going to be enough. He does get the Shrunken head up. Magnus trying to pop the ultimate. Interrupt? No, what was that? Oh, the poison! He was poisoned. It goes ahead and hits there one more time. Myrmidon gonna barely get away. Zephyr running up, trying to catch him. Maybe a little bit of Bloodlust. Will he be able to do it? Don't think that's probably the best of choices, as Demented Shaman gonna be grabbed here after that chase. And he's not getting out alive.
It doesn't really matter. At this point, it's kind of already over. Valkyrie is just huge, and they're... even if they pull this together at this point, I don't think it would really matter. They're just pretty farmed. Let's see. Oh, he did go Hellflower, huh? That is definitely one item that I wasn't expecting. Although, again, Zephyr, it's the best item counter to Zephyr. I suppose Culture Sheepstick could be considered a good counter, but with the extra % damage on Hellflower, it also removes his evasion.
Huh,
okay. It canceled all his abilities, so he doesn't have any evasion anymore.
I see.
And he can't use his Cyclones anymore. He can't absorb them for health. So he's basically useless.
That is a powerful counter. Yeah. And speaking of which, they're Polywog trying to chase that little Zephyr back a bit, trying to force him out. They are going to be able to take down the illusions of Valkyrie, but she herself is still doing just fine. Maybe going to be forcing a little bit of a tower dive. Doesn't really matter. They're getting a lot of damage dealt here. They're going to take down this Zephyr. They're going to take down Bombardier, everybody. So I think this is going to be a pretty big nail in the coffin of this Legion team here, as the experience and gold goes to well over 20,000. The Legion concede vote is called out. I can only imagine they're going to. There we go. So this is a best-of-3 series. We see Game 1 of the UNGL Zowie Cup number 2 semifinals matchup of Port versus Online Kingdom, going to Online Kingdom. So well done to them. Well played. There was just a few times there when we maybe doubted, you know, some of the maneuvers and things done from Online Kingdom, but really hope that Port can pull things together here. Maybe see if not quite so many what we would consider mistakes out of them. Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this game here, Onaprayer?
They did a nice job gaining the advantage earlier on, as you're not in the game anymore, are you?
Yeah, I'm watching the baby taunt go off. Yeah, I always sit at the screen just for whatever reason.
Some nice blink jukage by Honey.
Well, Bomb was wanting that kill on whoever that was there left, and he didn't get it either. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think?
In the actual game, nice job getting the advantage by Port, but they did kind of throw it away. They split off and they didn't really pull it together as a team. Also, maybe one of those teams that need more competitive experience. I don't know. Port's been around for longer than Genesis has. I know that when we saw them play, we were like, oh yeah, maybe they could use a little bit more, but it's definitely there. Like, I'll say the same thing for them. They've just been around longer, so maybe you expect a little bit more from them. But it was definitely showed that they're a good team, the fact they were able to get that advantage earlier on. Even if they let it go, you might, it's still good.
Indeed. So here we go. We are going to be going to Game 2 now, and look forward to see if we can have a real best-of-3 series here. So again, congratulations to Online Kingdom in their Game 1 win of the UNGL Zowie Cup number 2. Thank you very much, Onaprayer, for joining me. And again, if you guys are not currently subscribed to the YouTube channel, go ahead and feel free to subscribe to that. It is, in fact, free. Also, be sure to like this video if you liked the video, and that just helps us out with the video getting a little more popular and being able to have other people find it. So, yeah, thank you guys. Be sure to check the description for the links to Onaprayer's live stream and anything else that we may want to put down there. So, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you in Game 2.